Welcome to What She Does, the podcast that takes you inside the working lives of everyday women shaping the world around us. I'm Leanne Starr.
And I'm Annie Sinzinger. And each week, we sit down with someone who shows us not just what she does, but how and why she does it. Plus, find out if you fit the same mold to grab the same type of gig. Let's discover
What She Does, starting now.
Today's guest spent years as a pharmacist on a pharmacy services team until a corporate buyout eliminated her department, opening the door to something completely different. Sawsan Abublan is now the CEO of Shawarma Press, a Mediterranean restaurant brand built into an 11-unit franchise across Texas, Georgia, and Kansas. We're talking franchise disclosure documents, franchisee audits, and what it takes to scale a restaurant brand from scratch.
Today we have Sawsan Abublan, who was a pharmacist, and now she is a shawarma franchisor. So welcome, Sawsan.
Hi, Leanne. Thank you so much for having me.
So it's a natural thing. You go from pharmacy to shawarma. How
Pretty.
did this happen?
Oh, it is. It's a story, that's for sure, and definitely it's not a natural progression. Otherwise, every pharmacist would be in the food industry by now, right?
Okay.
But growing up in the Middle East, especially in Jordan, shawarma is a street food that we grew up eating and craving literally multiple times a week, right? So after immigrating to the United States. I've been here for about now 27 years. But when the shawarma idea came to life, it was about 10 years ago. And my husband and I, we were talking and we're like, how come, we have to travel overseas to have a decent shawarma? And he's the visionary behind this project. And he was like, okay, maybe we can turn this into a business. And that's exactly what happened. The idea of Shawarma Press was born I want to say about 12 years ago. And then, took shape 10 years ago. And we opened our first restaurant 9 years ago.
Ah,
Um, Now, the question is, how did I end up in in shawarma press? And the answer was, one of us had to dedicate the time and the effort
mm.
to ensure the success of the project. This was not meant to be a mom and pop store. This was meant to be a franchise. And I guess, fate played a role, and the pharmacy that I was working in got bought out by a bigger brand of pharmaceutical, I would say name. And the department that I was working in just got eliminated.
Oh,
Simple as that. I took the sign and I took on that project. And here I am 9 years later.
wow. Okay. And how many? You have 17 franchises?
Right now, 11. We
11.
are 11 stores. Yes.
Wow. Okay. So how do you go from being a one location, destination to having multiple franchises in different parts of the country? Do you sell them or how does that work?
So out of the 11 locations, 4 are company owned
Mhm.
and the other 7 are franchisee owned. And the way we I would say put the foundation for this is that with the first location in place, we immediately started all the groundwork for expansion, meaning in
Mm,
order to sell this to somebody else, we have to show them all the documentation on how to start a business
yeah.
and then documentation how to run it,
Mhm.
provide the training. And most important, actually, even before selling the franchise, we had to invest in the FDD, the franchise disclosure document. This by itself costs thousands and thousands of dollars. It's a legal document. It explains everything that the franchisee is responsible for, as well as what the franchisor is responsible for. And that document is the number one thing that anyone should have in place before even thinking about
Uh,
selling a franchise, because they can't sell a franchise without an
Mm.
FDD.
wow, I've never even heard of an FDD. So, but you have 4 company owned and then the rest are, so you also had to make a leap of faith that these people who want to franchise you represent your brand
Mhm.
as
Yep.
well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's a very, very tough, I want to say, and very complicated relationship, because I am trusting a franchisee with my literally my dream, right? So this
Mhm.
is something that I've worked so hard on establishing, and we were successful with our company-owned restaurants, with the reputation and the quality and the customer service and all of that. And then I'm trusting all of this to somebody who's new to me and to the brand, but they are also entrusting me with their investment, right? I mean, they are the ones putting the money to open a shawarma press location. So I need to support them every possible way to ensure that they're successful, because literally, I mean, this is not cliche. Their success is my success. I mean, it's in the very literal meaning of that word.
How how do you maintain good relationships with the franchisees in this case where they are being entrusted? Like, what do you do? Do you audit them? Do you how do you maintain the brand?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the FDD, the franchise disclosure document, it actually goes into very deep explanation on how, number one, I mean, they should run their business, and two, how we're going to audit them every step of the way. And audit is not in a bad way. I mean, we are literally ensuring that they are following the process that we found to be effective, right? I mean, because there is so many different ways of making hummus, right? But
Mhm.
after we learned from our mistakes, after we lost our own money in those, recovering from those mistakes, I am giving my franchisee the best way to make hummus. Again, this is just an example, right? So I will make sure that they follow my process, because if they decide that, oh, my aunt makes a better hummus, and they go that way, and it doesn't turn out, to be stable, doesn't turn out to be creamy, doesn't. Anyway, so you get the idea, right? So yes, we do follow up constantly. I'm saying daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, and then on annual basis, to ensure that the franchisee is following the process, and at the same time that the brand is represented in the best possible way, and that the business is thriving the way it should be.
Okay, you realize I do have to ask what makes a bad hummus.
Yes.
I wanna say bad tahini, because the
Okay.
Mm,
hummus is made from chickpeas, and you
yeah.
have to select the best tahini on the market, which many are unfortunately, I wouldn't say tampered with or mixed with some, nasty ingredients, and so, you have to select the best tahini to mix your chickpeas with to make the best hummus.
Okay, that's good. Now I feel reassured. I I have to buy the little pre-made, containers of hummus that from the
Yes,
grocery store,
yes.
from Costco or whatever, and they're never really that good.
We have tested, and again, only an example, but we have tested every hummus on the market, and ours is guaranteed way better and fresh
Okay.
as well.
So, the other thing I was going to ask is you're the only shawarma franchisee or franchise? And I feel like there's shawarma almost everywhere in Los Angeles. So,
Mhm.
but they're not, I guess, franchises. Why do you think
Correct.
you're the only one?
Well, that's what happened when we researched the market. So basically, in order for this to be a successful business idea. We had to search the market and find out where if a franchise for shawarma exists in the United States. Now, we found out that they exist in Canada, so
Hmm.
Canada has
Mm.
Hush.
chains. So the easier way to describe it are is chains. So Canada had chains of shawarma brands, but the United States didn't. So there's a lot of restaurants. I want to say Los Angeles is very famous for shawarma.
Sure.
Detroit is very famous. Also New York. But for this to be standardized, and I wanna say from an expansion standpoint, expansionable, if that's even a word,
Yeah.
then, it's not gonna be like a single store where somebody has and no offense to that, where somebody has their own recipes,
Right.
that they're using, and then next to them is someone else with a different recipe. So we decided to create this as an opportunity for franchising because it did not exist in the States.
Are they mostly in Texas, or where are your franchises?
So out of the 7 I'm sorry, out of the 11, we have 7 in Texas, we have 2 in Atlanta, and 1 in Kansas. Oh,
Oh,
which in
wow.
Lawrence, specifically Lawrence, Kansas, by the university.
So, is sort of the preponderance, like you said, there's tons of shawarma places in Los Angeles. Is that good or bad? Is that a hindrance to what you're doing or no?
No, 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 not at all. Not at all. Because this is literally street food, meaning just like you find a burger joint at every corner, you can have a shawarma joint, at every corner as well. And there is no, I want to say there is competition, but at the same time, there is enough people who want shawarma to go around. Yeah. So, and honestly, in Texas, at least in my area, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we did not have any shawarma places at all,
Oh,
so we were the first one. People didn't even know how to pronounce shawarma,
Mm.
right? So we were the first ones, but now look around, I mean, yes, there are 7 shawarma press, but there are probably 70 other non-shawarma press, stores that opened because we started this and people love
wow.
it. Yeah.
Well, so good. You wanna come to California?
Are you ready to open a franchise?
Yes, I am.
Well, I have no intention at this time, to expand
Okay.
that far. I'm trying to stay regional for the
We're not
supply
that
chain.
Yeah.
Well
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna have to make sure you get the stuff, right? So, yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully one day, we can expand, to
Yeah.
the coasts, but at this time, we're staying regional just for the supply chain,
That makes sense.
efficiency. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
efficiencies. I understand that. I guess because you bring up the, regional area, uh, are are the are the things happening in the economy, and I say that very loosely because we don't get very political on this show,
yeah.
but are you seeing an impact of that either on pricing, affecting your customers? I
Oh
mean,
my
all
god.
those types of things because things are transported places and
Yes.
especially to your location.
And
Yeah.
gas is pricey now.
Yeah. It has a direct impact, and I'm
Yeah.
going to give you just a couple examples. So, we're talking about plastic containers that we use to make our, meals. So, like a 3-compartment container.
Mhm.
The price of 1 case literally quadrupled. It
Whoa.
was
Wow.
20, now it's 80.
Whoa.
Overnight, with no apologies, no explanation, nothing, and, I don't blame it on my, distributor. I
Yeah.
mean, they're buying it, and they're paying tariffs on it, and
Mhm.
they're paying, for, the transportation, and gas is so high, so they are being charged higher prices to import or make, right? And then now it's brought down to us, and I'm looking at my cost and my margins kinda shrinking, and
Mhm.
I'm thinking, "What do I do? How much does my shawarma have to cost, you
Yeah.
know, for me to afford all of these, higher prices?" I decided not to increase my prices yet. I'm hoping that we can absorb this and the prices will go
Mm,
down, so I don't have to charge my consumer more because the consumer is hurting as it is, right? I mean, they're trying not to go eat out, and take
Yeah.
their families and
mhm.
pay an arm and a leg nowadays just for like a four-person meal. So yes, yes, it's definitely affecting us, and a lot of restaurants, unfortunately, are not able to make it. I mean, they're closures all
Yeah.
over. Yeah,
Mm.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
I feel like on the few occasions when I have been out, it's like there aren't people. Like,
Correct.
Yes.
there aren't customers, so,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
I hope you thrive, I hope this goes away.
What would you
It
say was the hardest part about starting this process? Like, what
it
did you find the biggest challenge?
Yeah, it was literally the fact that nobody knew the cuisine. So,
Mm,
at least in the Dallas area. Now,
Okay.
not to Leanne's point though, it's actually a good thing that we have all of these shawarma places now around us.
Oh, really?
Honestly,
Or
without bragging, it's because we are the best. So
oh,
people will go and try other places and then
they'll
try
come
shawarma
back to
again.
you?
Exactly.
mm.
No exaggeration.
Oh,
True story, and you can I mean, I hope you guys come and visit, at some point. It's definitely worth, the hype, and, we're very proud of what we have accomplished.
dude, I want to, I'm now thinking, "I want lunch." Anyway, but can you tell me, like, you did mention the hummus, but what has been the biggest mistake that you've
Mm.
recovered from in building a franchise?
Oh, wow. Truthfully, there's so many. I mean, some big, some
No.
small. Yeah, because, to Annie's point, really, when you're starting a business that basically does not exist in an
Yeah.
official
Mm.
format, you have to do everything from scratch. There is one that I laugh about the entire time because it's still in my face, which is white tile. Whenever we did the design, the designer thought it was a great idea to have white tile in the lobby, and I, for my, like, ignorance and that, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that looks amazing." Really? I mean, until this day, I'm looking at this tile, and it's so difficult to clean, and it is just, and it's very expensive to replace.
Uh,
But, I mean, it's a very big mistake, but, I mean, luckily, it does not affect the quality of the food, but,
no.
but it's a mistake, right? Um, Now as far as the food goes, I believe the first thing we did is that we were doing the stacking of the meat, the marination, the stacking, in the cone shape and all that in the restaurant itself in the first location that we had, um, and I mean, soon enough, we realized that we are outgrowing that small kitchen. So,
Mm,
in a way, I mean, it's a good problem to have. We did not expect that we were going to grow
Mm.
quickly and that people are actually going to love our food and we're going to have so much, sales and expansion. So technically the kitchen was also too small for the operation. So, but we pivoted from that and we found a commercial kitchen where we're using right now as a commissary to do all of that. So that is another thing that you never know, right? I mean, you could hit it and you're, off the charts or you could not, but luckily we were from the first.
have you felt there's any kind of pushback being a woman in franchising a restaurant? Yes.
Pretty much so,
Whoa,
yes. The
okay.
confidence in my abilities was actually pretty low,
Oh,
um, and now, I mean, everybody's is proud of the accomplishment, but in the beginning is when you actually need the support the most. I
uh,
had the support from my immediate family, right? Like, my husband was my biggest supporter, my cheerleader, and my quarterback. Literally, I mean, he again, the vision came through his travels and finding the gap in the market, but the takeoff was all on me and he was my biggest supporter. Now, gradually, I gained the support of people around me, whether it's my supplier, knowing that, oh, I'm on time. I don't really mess with invoices and I pay when I need to pay, right? I mean, and that is something that, um, y- you know, suppliers struggle with. So I gained the confidence of my supplier. I gained the confidence of my customers. Guess why?
mm,
Because now they're coming on the second year and the food is the same, if not better. The third year is consistent. My employees are still very respectful. The cleanliness of the place has not, gone down. So as a woman in the food industry, being the franchisor too, I mean, I am the face of the brand. It was difficult, yes.
Mhm.
But luckily, I was able to prove myself and gain the confidence of people around me. And now I have all the love and the support that, I need.
Oh, that's good.
Being a pharmacist, we talked about this at the beginning, is difficult to become a pharmacist to begin with. And then to make this real kind of 180 into a completely different area. What skills or aspects of being a pharmacist transferred to your new role and business?
I am smiling because you should ask my my employees. It's the knowledge of contamination, cross
Oh my
contamination.
god.
Yes, the importance of cleanliness and sanitization. In my opinion, this is a background that everybody should have who's opening a restaurant, regardless. Not saying that they should be a pharmacist, but definitely some knowledge of
Mm,
that is very helpful because this is protecting the business from incidents of, food poisoning,
Mm,
also, overgrowth of certain things that you definitely don't want to see. And
mhm.
uh I have like I want to say I don't know how to describe it, but like I am proud to tell you that the health inspector would rather eat at a shawarma press, and this is not a secret. They have told me this multiple times. They come for the inspection, they eat at my restaurant because they tell me they know how clean this place is. And
Mm.
I owe that to my pharmacy background, knowledge of all of that. And second of all, pharmacy also taught me discipline. And
mm,
discipline means like if I have a process, I need to follow it. If I have training, I have to do it or administer it. And then I have to follow up on that training and I have to follow up on the process, improve the process if it's not working. All of that discipline came from my background. I am lucky to have that background. Not saying that everybody, should or expected to have it, but definitely it helped me more than anybody else.
there will not be vermin at Shawarma Press.
That's a
It
good thing for
Uh,
that's
sure.
absolutely, absolutely.
so, I have to know, do you miss being a pharmacist at all?
Yes, I did, for the first 5 years, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh.
I had my license hanging in my office, and I looked at it a couple of times, and I was like, I wonder, when is gonna be a good time to go back?"
Mm,
But then I felt that this was a burden on
Mm,
my own journey per se.
mm,
I loved pharmacy. I was enjoying every minute of it and the healthcare aspect of, helping people and being able to,
yeah.
be with them when they're most vulnerable, when they're sick, right? I mean, that was something that I loved doing and serving. But because of the business, I felt that, okay, I'm being held back by looking at my license, and I had to decide which way do I want to go. And so after I would say after the 7th year, we had our 7-year anniversary, I retired my license
Oh,
and I said, "Okay, it's shawarma press all the way." I am very grateful for that part of my journey, but I can't keep looking back and
mm,
thinking about it. It's holding me back, and I was like, "Okay." And from that moment, I mean, the past 3 years have been nothing but, like, prosperity, I wanna say, and
mm,
freedom, like being able to just focus on one thing, give it my 100% instead of my 90% per se, and it's true.
right.
I felt the burden just completely lifted.
wow.
What what's your what was your daily routine like when you first started, and how is it different today in what your role is?
Uh, so with restaurants, honestly, I mean, you are on your toes from before the restaurant opens until after the restaurant closes.
Mhm.
And I believe that what has changed is that I was stressed the whole time,
Oh.
waiting for the next phone call to come in and tell me some bad news, or for the next text to come in and tell me something broke down, or for someone not to show up for work. And
Mhm.
until now, even though I don't use them as much, but until now, dishwashing gloves are in my glove compartment instead of winter gloves. Literally, because it was gonna happen, if not today, it was gonna happen tomorrow where somebody does not show up and I have to actually, like, go in and fill in for that. Luckily, what has changed right now is my stress level.
Okay.
I am more capable of adapting and reacting less intensely to those events. So if it happens, right? I mean, and I guess I got used to it per se, but at the same time, I trained my team to be cross trained on all stations. And that is something you learn as you go, is like, oh, the cashier doesn't have to be a cashier only. They can do the dishes, or they can fry the falafel, or they can, cut the meat. So I was able to change the job titles from cashier, line cook, prep cook, and all that to crew. And crew is the best thing that ever happened to me, because now everybody's cross trained. And if someone is off and another person called out, then I can reach out to that person and say, hey, do you want more hours? And they can fill in any station. So luckily, that is a huge, like, I want to say, like, improvement and change in my routine per se. I mean, otherwise it's just business as usual. I do the scheduling, I do the payroll, and I do the purchases on a store level. But imagine being responsible overall for the brand
Mhm.
as a CEO of Shawarma Press. I have a lot more responsibilities now, administratively, other than, like, operationally. So I'm not as involved in the operations, and I'm more focused on the overall brand.
I would think since you're the CEO, like, at what point do you get to say, "I'm pushing this off on other people, and I'm going to a desert island, and I'm going to relax." I mean, what at what point does that come?
Well, it's hopefully it will come soon. But I'm not gonna lie to you. As much as tiring as it is, um, you have to have passion for it. You have to enjoy it for it to succeed.
Mm,
And if I was, like, thinking about, that part of it, is like, when am I going to be on that, I want to say, like, getaway, and just, it's going to be very harming to the brand, because
mhm.
the reason why it is thriving and it is successful, because I put all my passion into it. Now, that said, I don't wait for like a long time, getaway of some sort. I do enjoy, weekends out of town. I do enjoy weekends in town. I have two daughters, and one is in Maryland, the other one is in Atlanta. I will make every excuse to go and visit and just,
Eh,
detach for a couple of days. So that's helped me a lot. So I don't feel stuck, and I don't feel like I need to wait for, like, this big exit, or you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and I
So
give this advice to everyone, honestly. Anyone who's running a business, don't wait for a long-term vacation. Use a day or two to recharge, and it really helps. I say it from experience.
since you were a working mother, I have to ask, like, uh, uh, were your kids, I guess, grown when you started the shawarma business, or
No, so 10 years ago, when we were doing all the construction, they were both still in school, as in, like, high school, middle school. and now they're both, grown and in college, but they had to pay their dues. They had to go through the shawarma press system. So they definitely their first job for both of my daughters, and they are 4 years, apart, so their first job was at shawarma press,
Uh,
and, whether they liked it or not, I mean, that they had to serve. And they were on payroll, of course, they were getting paid, it wasn't free, and I wanted them to
slave
experience
labor?
exactly. I did not wanna do that to them, but, so they definitely learned a lot. It was, important for their character and personality and growth, to experience actual, work environment and also see mom, and dad actually sweating it and putting all the effort, and they realized that this is not easy. Like, that food does not make itself, right? I mean,
Mm,
it takes a village and it takes a big team and it takes a lot of effort. And they understood why I stay up until the restaurant is closed, just to make sure everybody's safe and they can go home,
Mhm.
oh, that's
What did
great.
you want them to learn?
Uh, Mostly that, they're very privileged to have all they have at home, not knowing where the money comes from, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
in reality, most kids think mom and dad, like, have money in the bank because it's
Mm.
there. It grows itself. So, yeah, so I wanted them to work for their, um, uh allowance per se, and
Okay.
understand that whatever they're making right now is only a small fraction of what mom and dad have to do to earn, the income that we're earning, and to make sure that they have, their phones and the TVs and their everything they need, their makeup and like, girls, their clothes.
Oh,
So
yeah.
all of this is a result of hard work, and honestly, the other thing I wanted them to do is to interact with other people, because
Mm,
their generation is so into, the electronics, right? They interact through text messages and Instagram,
yes.
DMs and things like that, and they don't know how to talk to someone else, and it was hard for them. They didn't like it, and I was like,
Wow.
"Yeah, you're on the schedule. You better show up for work."
Oh, that's great. I need to find my kids a job at a shawarma restaurant. This is great.
Are you gonna
I
send
would
them to
love to have
Texas?
I would
Yeah,
love
I
to
in
have them.
Texas. They'd be like, "Why are these kids here?" Yeah.
What are the top skills you think are needed to be a successful franchisor?
Oh, well, for franchisor, which is my role, in order to have a brand and be able to, offer this brand to other people, the most important skill is literally discipline, which is respecting the laws, because franchising is a highly regulated industry. You have to abide by federal laws, state laws, and you
Mhm.
go down to city and county laws, and there is no messing with that. I mean, there is no bending rules and all that. So the most important thing is knowledge of the laws, and also, the willingness to follow them, and for that, I must say you have to have a great franchise attorney in your circle. Um,
Mm,
they
okay.
don't have to be on your payroll full time. They can be on a retainer, which is really the most favorable option. You pay them a retainer, and then they provide you with the advice that you need. Or if you're lucky and it's a family member, then at least in the beginning, they can provide you with. It's not going to be free, of course, but lower budget type of advice. But that is the most important thing: knowledge of the laws and willingness to follow them. After that comes really the organization skills. I mean, you have to be highly organized to understand, how to manage multiple, literally multiple projects at the same time, whether it's a new location that is about to open, or a location that's already open but they need training or they need support, or they're out of items, or the other day the internet was out because of a storm, and
Great.
you know this one of the stores was like, "I don't know what to do." Sometimes it's simple stuff, but sometimes it's a gas leak where, it's a really major item
Oh,
where the store
yeah.
is actually closed. So and sometimes they all happen at the same time. So being organized and being, really calm enough to prioritize and, react with wisdom instead of, panic, which it's a taught it's a learn you have to learn it. I mean, it does not come by itself, like that. So, that's the other thing. And then the third thing is, financial knowledge.
Mm.
Financially, you have to be aware and familiar with, profit and loss statements, income
Mhm.
statements, and also, um, I wanna say, like, the margins and be able to help your franchisee navigate through tough
Mm.
times, whether, they're going through difficulty in their market or, they're having, health issues and things like that. So financial, knowledge, is very, very important.
Where did you learn all this math that you needed? Like, were you good at math in school? Like, it seems like profit
Yeah.
loss. Okay, yes.
Yeah, yeah, so you have to have the basic math, and I'm not talking about algebra or
Mm-mm.
calculus or anything like that, no, just basic math. Then what I did, I took, financial, literacy courses, and those are available through either the Chamber of Commerce at your
Huh.
city or the Small Business Administration. Those can be very affordable. Even, community colleges
Mhm.
in your area, if someone is starting a new business, they offer financial literacy, courses that could be either one day only or it could be, like, over a couple weekends. So they're not, like, 3 months worth of things, so they just put you on the beginning of what you need to learn, in order to start the business, and then you can go in depth as much as you want after that. Uh, and to that effect also, you don't have to know everything if you have an accountant, and those can also be part-time. So the accountant can help you with, what do they call bookkeeping. So you can send them all of your invoices, and then they can look at the sales, and they can produce the profit and loss statement for you, but you need to know how to read it.
Mhm.
So basic literacy. Not I'm not talking any in depth, but you should be able to at least read a profit and loss statement and understand what the lines mean, but you don't have to produce it because if you have in your circle, again, an accountant who's even part-time, they can do that for you
Mhm.
and other businesses. So that's how accountants, go. They can serve multiple companies at the same time.
And my last question for you, as we ask all our, guests, is what would you tell your younger self?
I would tell her to be patient and calm from the very beginning because the beginning of this project was extremely stressful for me. And I would tell her that it will pass. Just, educate yourself and be calm and better days are coming. So yeah.
I feel like on the few occasions when I have been out, it's like there aren't people. Like, there
Correct.
aren't
Yes.
people, there aren't customers. So,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope you thrive. I hope this goes away. Thank you so much for being on our podcast, Hassan, and it's been
Absolutely.
great talking to you.
My
Th
pleasure.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
So I think, she made the right choice switching from pharmacist to a shawarma franchisor.
I don't think she started out wanting to be a shawarma franchisor.
Yeah, but she wanted to sell shawarma.
When it becomes something you don't want to do anymore or you have to pivot, uh, relying on things that you know in your family, like recipes and possible market, you know, untapped market. Those are good ingredients,
Yeah.
um, for a recipe for success in food, but it also comes with some challenges, though.
It seems like there's a learning curve. There's a high
Yeah.
learning curve.
Yeah, there's definitely a big learning curve. So, um, she went back to learn some more things to make the business successful. Like,
Yeah,
she's not trained in business, principles.
right.
So, learning about accounting, and then there's, business law. So, there are certain things that to be a franchisor, you have to have, knowledge of, because there's a lot of legal compliance that they have to, like, follow.
Yeah, and it seems like oh my god,
On top of the fact that it's food, there's health and safety. So,
yeah. It's like there can be a lot of missteps.
yes, I think so too. I think overall, it can be profitable
Yeah,
if you have the right setup and you also, can think through business processes.
yeah. It's like there's so many things you have to think about. You also have to think about hiring, who you're going to have cooking, who's, like, going to be working the cash register, who's going to be cleaning. I
But
mean
even so, like,
yeah,
cross-training people allows
yeah.
you to have less employees and good coverage too. So
Mhm.
always kind of thinking about the business processes that need to be in place, and then understanding economics. I mean, one of the things that I think Sawson really touched upon, which is cost of everything is going up. I mean, and then if laws change, like for example, in California, you can't have, styrofoam. So
Yeah.
what do you use in place of that? And those costs go up too.
That's why she's not coming to California,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Well, there are a lot of reasons that,
there's so many reasons.
California can also provide challenges, but I think building a franchise is probably the most daunting because of
Yes.
all of the things that you have to set up and keeping people consistent with whatever your brand is.
So good for Sawson. It's more daunting than I would want, but good for her.
Thanks for joining us today. That's what she does, and maybe what you could do too. If you like what you heard, make sure you follow What She Does wherever you get your podcasts.